I'm gonna show you how to start and scale your TikTok ads today, even if you have no experience. And in a minute, we're gonna chat with a student of mine who duplicated what I'm gonna show you and got his sales up to $25,000 per day. That's every day. Today we have a nice little agenda to cover. Scaling TikTok. We got strategy outline, the interview, chatting with our good buddy Marcos, an insider look at one of my ad accounts. I'm going to walk you through some scaling strategies, just kind of from the jump, some things to jumpstart and get a lot of sales really quick. And then I'm going to give you some more game because there's really a lot of stuff to cover here. So we have a lot to cover. But first, I want to share what I taught Marcos, is his name, the student of mine, and a little bit about what that strategy is before you hear more details from him, okay? So this is an overview, okay? It's a high level. This stuff takes a long time to learn. Number one, I explained to him, you got to run TikTok ads because it's the fastest way to grow. Nowadays, you could go run Google ads. You could run ads on Snapchat. You could run Facebook ads. All of these can be great platforms, but you always need to pick one. And I have scaled a ton of stores and made a lot of money just with TikTok. I've also made a ton of money with Facebook, but you got to pick one to start. So the second thing, you need a great product. Absolutely no exception. You have to spend time here. Most people fail right here. And so we go really deep on product research in the same program that he went through. Number three, focus more on your AOV than your CPP. So this is where we start to get technical. But if somebody's spending $40 on your store, it is easier to get them to spend $50 instead of trying to reduce your cost by $10. That's the simple high level of it. It is easier to get somebody to spend more than it is to reduce your cost on the advertising. I would rather spend more on the advertising so I can scale more, right? Higher revenue, not lower cost. And the fourth thing, email and SMS, which is text, on the back end is your true money maker. I make 27% of my total revenue through this. Whoa, quick interruption. Click the top link below this video because we have a new group coaching program starting soon. You're gonna get a dedicated coach, one-on-one help, and our amazing group. And just for filling out that form, I'm gonna send you a free course. It's a very short form. We just wanna see how we can help you. Maybe we send you a free course, a list of winning products, but you gotta fill that out so that we know your situation and we can help you out. So like the screenshot you see here, about 40,000 of that was from email marketing and sending out text messages. That's all automated, takes no time for me. That's a very significant amount of sales, right? That's a lot of money. So can't neglect it. And then if you do all these things really well and spend 3 to 6 months actually building the skill, you're gonna be in a great position. A lot of people wanna make money immediately, make some money overnight. That happens very rarely. I've seen an outlier where their first product works well, but that should never be your expectation, okay? You're just jumping off on the wrong foot. So let's go through this. By the way, there is an extended $1 trial for Shopify. So if you want to open a store and start dropshipping and doing what we show, you'll get special terms if you use the link down below for Shopify. So you can click that and open your store there. Now, let's talk about the basic approach for TikTok. This is the entry-level thing that Marco started with and some initial things. You'll want to understand this before we go in detail. We do a 1x2x3 or a 1x3x3. You might think I am crazy by rattling off some numbers like we're in math class. This is very simple. Okay, campaign flow, ad group, ads, okay? So one campaign, 2 or 3 ad groups, that's your choice on how much you wanna spend, and then 3 ads. That's like a minimum that we have under there. Some people like to put 6. I'm not gonna do that until I have a much higher budget. So the reason there is because the ad spend is gonna get dispersed across those 3 videos. So you don't want 6, it's too many if you're only running a $70 budget or a $100 budget. So that's your entry-level testing. We have a wide open audience. I'm usually running US and Canada, just so you guys know. Those are the intro ones that I'm starting off with. We always run Spark ads. So this is the same as an existing post if you were to run Facebook, okay? If anybody's run Facebook ads, an existing post means if I duplicate this right here, the ad group level, if I duplicate the ad group because I want to run it to a different audience, but I want to run the same videos, if you don't have an existing post or you don't have a Spark ad running, that means every time you duplicate, you are starting over with 0 likes, 0 comments, and no views. The problem with that is you're just starting from scratch. There's no reason. And you want the social proof because when I have a video that has 36 million views with 18,000 comments, what do you think that does when somebody sees that? Are you more likely to buy something from 18,000 comments on this ad where there's verified people commenting and it looks like so legit because it is, or something with 2 likes and no comments? Right? It's just, basic human psychology. And then multiple budgets. So when I'm launching these initial ad groups, I'm going to have a couple different budgets, maybe a 50 and one at 100, maybe a 75, maybe 2 50s and 100, just a little bit of variable change there. Now we're still running the audiences wide open. I'll even give you some free game. On TikTok, if you are going to do this, you're going to want to run any interest you do and you're going to want to expand it. Okay, so I call this EI, expanded interest, right under where you select it. You're still going to be targeting 140 million people or so if you're running to the US and Canada. So there's no real difference between your audiences, but you're still targeting somebody and then opening it up. So keep it wide. You can also do no interest targeting. And then rule number 1, this is basic entry level here, just based on the cost per purchase. Kill any ads with 0 sales by day 2 if you're at $100 or more. Here's a scenario. If I'm running an ad at $100 a day, and it's probably 11 a.m. the next day, and I've probably spent $161, give or take. It's kind of into that second day, spending through the budget. If I don't have a sale by now, it's dead. That's it. Boom, exit out, kill it. That's what I'm doing. Now, if I'm at a lower budget, I'm going to have to let it run a little longer. That's just a very simple, it's just math here. So you can go study the learning phases on TikTok, how you want to get out of that and break above 50 conversions a week. We go through that inside of our program and whatnot, but we'll talk about it. So there's a lot of management that goes into this and metrics that we follow. It's a lot of stuff that dives into this. Now, I'm going to give you a secondary approach in case that other one doesn't work. This is what might save your TikTok ads. Okay, and again, none of this works unless you have a great product. So that's number 1. That is absolutely number 1. Approach number 2, fast killing off of non-CPA metrics. Now, if you're a complete beginner, I'm going to dumb this down and explain it, okay? This is actually something Marcos, who we're going to chat with momentarily, did a lot of. I rarely do this one, okay? I only do this to kill the outliers, not as like an intro starting strategy. But this is what he did, and it worked really, really well. So if you want to fully do this on the front end, run it, right? This is an example for you. Kill every single ad group, right? Just like back up in here with the 1x3x3, the ad group level where you're doing different targeting, different budgets. Kill every single one that has a cost per click over about $1 if you're at $3 spent, $5 spent. So like right away, boom, the ad has spent $5. If my cost per click is over $1, chopping it off. But if you're going to do this approach, you have to launch a lot more ads. Okay, the lower cost ones can be left on, the best 2 or 3, and then monitored in accordance to our normal strategy and rules or whatever the hell you want to do. I really recommend you learn what you're doing, but you can burn a lot of money really quick running ads. But the theory here is that the metrics won't improve much over time. So if you go launch 12 ad groups or whatever, and 8 of them are at $2.20 for a click, and you just spent $4, I would just chop those off right away, because those to me are significant outliers. Now, I usually do that later. I want to see the conversions, but you can also do this right on the get-go to like cost control. If you want to launch a lot more stuff, maybe a couple CBOs in there, that's a strategy that you can do. So there's a lot that goes into TikTok. It's such a dense platform. But oh my goodness, we can make, I can spin up a new store and make a ton of money like insanely fast. On Facebook, it was a much slower grind. You got to warm up the account. On TikTok, I've never seen a platform that's just boom, you hit the right video, the right product, it goes bananas. Okay, so there's one thing. Now let's talk about how to scale. Okay, we're going to get into this more. Here's a light little thing. Scaling the ads is one thing, but you don't need to scale your ads. I want to reframe your mind here. You don't have to spend more money and get more customers to make more money. This is mistake 101 by every marketer. They spin their wheels on front-end customer acquisition while never taking advantage of the actual customer they already have. And that's called LTV, lifetime value. But there's a lot of things you can do to make more money. Here are some. Reduce your product cost. Great. Most people don't know how to do this effectively. Charge for shipping. I'll bet you didn't know on Facebook, charging for shipping does affect your conversion rate, at least by a minor scale. On TikTok, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. I've proved it out on 4 different stores, doing it at a high level. And so you can charge for shipping. That's a huge, huge upsell that's forced because I don't have a free shipping option. On TikTok, I have a minimum of $5 for shipping. Minimum on anything I sell. Do you know what that does when I'm doing 400 orders a day? I mean, that's a car, that's a house for mom, a vacation with the family in Greece. Like that's a huge, huge fucking thing, Sorry for the language. I'm just passionate about this. I nerd out. Upsells. This is where this is my domain. This is where I live because I can make so much money through upsells without needing to be profitable on the front end. So even if I'm break even, I'm chilling, I'm happy. Because if I get the right upsell system in place and then implement these 2 things, which like I already mentioned, are 27% average, sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, 27% of my total revenue. Okay, just implementing these 3 things. I see so many people that run ads, they're breaking even or, up or down 10%, maybe they're losing a little bit and they're like, forget this thing, it doesn't work, this whole thing, I'm shutting it down. Okay, if you had proper upsells, you'd be making a 10% profit margin after your cost. You implement this, it'd be another 13, 14% after your cost because you're offering discounts on the products. Okay, now you're running a 22%, 25% margin. That's super healthy. So it's just people that don't know what the hell they're doing, right? So we have a group coaching that's starting up shortly. We have another group that's starting up. You can fill out the application below. I'm going to give you a free course for answering those questions when you fill out that application. But if you want to see how we can work with you and how we can help you, help point you in the right direction, just fill out a couple questions. It'll take you 2 minutes. You can do that below. You'll get the same thing that I taught Marcos, plus get my one-on-one help, get a dedicated coach, a couple things like that. So we're really trying to make an effort to keep people accountable inside of the group versus just, hey, here's 50 videos of how to do it, figure it out. So it's a lot more than just a course. So it's a very small group. Let's have a chat with Marcos. Let's see what he has to say, because he has been putting in a lot of work.
Okay.
So we got Marcos on here. Give me a little run through on your experience inside the program.
Yeah, so I joined about last year, maybe around when it first started opening for the ads program. I was pretty bad at running ads. It took me a little bit to really get the hang of it. I started seeing some success, but unfortunately the product, like, I just didn't know, I didn't have enough margin on it, so I ended up cutting it. But that was my first product that I did revenue with. And then eventually, fast forward a few months, like 2 months later, I hit a big winner, and I ended up doing like 300,000 over the course of like 2 months. It had really good margin on it. We started using like high budget ABOs, and then what the biggest game changer for me and running ads was using surf scaling. And that's when we took it from like 2K days all the way to 17K the next day, and then 25K, and then we were just hitting that. Eventually our ad accounts got, taken down eventually. But yeah, we were surf scaling. That was like the biggest thing. And then we were just using ABOs strictly, ACO, and that's what got us to those big number high revenue days. And we were still pushing like 25 to 30% margin until eventually the product died off. But we still use surf scaling to this day. We use half ABOs and half CBOs, but that's what's been working best for me.
Nice, man. I remember you making those posts in the group, 17K in a day, hitting a $250,000 in sales. So I love seeing that progress. What was one thing that you weren't doing in the beginning when you weren't really getting great results versus once you were hitting these 15, 20, $30,000 days? Was it like one thing, like running ads or a better product with margin? What was like the biggest challenge for you?
Honestly, like, I didn't know how to like really find a winner. Like, I didn't start utilizing like ad spy tools till like way later than I should have. So once I started, getting tracking, sorry.
Good.
Once I started getting Shopify tracking sites, like Shop Hunter, I was using PP ads, I was using mineA.com. And yeah, basically that's how we found all these good products. And then we started testing, and it only took me like 4 like products off of like just finding just utilizing PP ads and Shop Hunter until I found that product. And then I just used the scaling strategies, surf scaling, and just ran it up with those high budget ABOs.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, where are you going from here? I mean, you're doing good numbers. You got some cash set aside, so now you can, start something with a little more firepower. What's next?
Yeah, what's next is I just started recently. I hired 2 VAs right now to look for products for me off PP. So they're just building a product list, and then I go through the list, take a look at everything. Next on the list is to hire somebody to build me stores, because I really don't like building stores. It's a waste of time. But yeah, I just want to media buy. I just want to run those testing campaigns, do like 4x40 broad ABO, and then just surf scale. Once we find something that's profitable or a little bit profitable, we'll just switch up the offer and then see what we can do. But right now it's just kind of just scaling, like how much volume I can test, and taking some stress off from like building sites, looking for products, because I have those people doing that for me. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, dude, those are the things that you can start getting off your plate slowly. Slowly. You got to do it right. But I mean, for the last 4.5 years, I haven't built one store. I haven't filmed ads myself. I've never done any of that. I modify a product description or whatever, but I'm just a media buyer. That's it. I've tried to outsource that piece. That's hard, but
I know. I can't, because you just got to get a feel for it. Like all those months I spent, like, I just have like a feel for media buying. That's what helps me like scale pretty well.
Yeah. And you've been running only TikTok ads, right?
Yeah, only TikTok ads. I don't do any organic. I don't do Facebook. Only TikTok. So I try to stick to one platform until
Yeah.
I'm really good at it. So
One vertical can take you so far. A lot of people try to split off. Like you can go to 1 million a month with one thing. Like
yeah,
I
and
did 1 million a month before I ever went from Facebook to somewhere else because I was only
yeah,
on Facebook.
yeah. And TikTok has its own
Yes.
crazy, yeah, full
Wow.
of problems. It's crazy out
Good.
here.
Congrats on it. I know you've been putting in the hard work. I love to see the
Yeah,
results. So you got to keep
yeah,
it moving.
yeah, for sure. And the cool thing is, using surf scaling and all these ad strategies, ABOs, learning how to media buy, like it's not just for dropshipping. We use this for affiliate offers. We ran this up like 150,000 revenue for affiliate offers, and we took home like 50K each, me and my buddy in like a month. It was crazy. Not even a month. It was like
Big
2 months.
margin because you don't have to fill in the
No
product.
margin or like no, yeah, it was like
Yeah.
stupid crazy
Are
margin. It
you
was sick.
using the platforms that we recommend inside the program?
No, we were using a different one. We were using Tap Affiliate Network. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
familiar with it, but we killed it with that. But yeah,
It's
it was
good
good.
path, man. So you
Yeah,
uh
good.
you would give somebody the thumbs up to join the program. It's helpful.
Yeah, no, yeah, you need to like it's good. It's good. The amount of value you get is worth it. I still use everything to this day. So
Nice, man.
appreciate
Glad
it.
to see you're on the uptrend. Keep putting in the work.
For sure, for sure. Thank you.
I've worked with a lot of people, and Marcos is special. There's not a lot of people that actually put in the work. So here's some key takeaways I have from the conversation with Marcos. And we chatted for about 45 minutes after that. And I also have a surprise for you in a minute. Stay here. This one down here. Woo! I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do it. All right. So Marcos is different. Here's some things that I noticed about him, not just like the ads that he's running, but him as a person. Okay. Because I believe success is not random. He's not afraid to ask a question. Now, I can only recall like one question that he ever asked me. Like even, I don't remember what it was, but I don't remember him like boom, 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 bombarding with questions. And here's the thing, selective questions. Because if you're DMing someone on Instagram, you'll probably get a reply once, maybe twice, but you start asking all these stupid like basic questions that you could Google or YouTube video or a course answers that. You're not taking action and they can see that, they're gonna start replying. It's just a simple fact. So he makes it a good question. Okay, it's not a beginner question. It's specific to what he's doing, right? He also tested stuff that was outside of what we show. So when I show how to run ads, I'm going to show you inside of one of my ad accounts in a second. There's always there's a 10 to 30%, this is what I think, different variable change between every ad account. And what I mean by that is if me, my imaginary friend, and you all go run ads and we do the same exact thing, same store, same product, same ads, everything the exact same, all of us get different results. That's just the illogical nature of running ads. Everything else in the business is perfectly logical. If X, then Y. But the running ads part, there's a small variable difference. Okay? And that's where you have to feel it. And it's hard to explain and convey that message. But as I was chatting with Marcus, he's like, you can feel the ad account. You can feel how it reacts. When you're actually looking at the metrics and studying it, and you try all sorts of different things, you can see how it reacts. You're reading the data. And it's hard to explain, but like it becomes second nature. It's like basket. I mean, if you're weaving a knit, you're knitting a sweater, I'd be looking at it all confused right now. But eventually there's people that do it, they're not even looking at it because they understand the pattern. They feel it, right? It's all that lovey-dovey hippie stuff. Marcos also networked in the industry. He's met a lot of people. He's put his foot forward with that, and he has partners and people that are helping him learn and group chats that he's in. That's taking it a step beyond, the normal person. And that's what you have to do in any industry. Whether it's e-commerce, the real estate, I pay a ton of money, about 50 grand a year just to network in real estate. And that's every 4 months I fly to a location. And that costs me a lot of money to do. But it's the networking that's important, right? He also knew it was when, not if. When is it going to work? Not if. It took him a while. It took him a while to start getting results. But it's not random, right? You just have to do the right thing. And he's obsessed, right? He learned and he's still learning. He's very new to the industry and he's not half-assing it. He's like a year in, maybe a little more. And that's great. He's able to crush a store that does $250,000 in 45 days, 50 days, whatever it was. It's nuts. But like that took time, and he's still an infant in the industry. And that's what's exciting because the best is yet to come for him. He has not hit true scale. So those are some takeaways I had. Now let me show you something. This is what light scaling looks like. Not surf scaling, which is a strategy that we use a little more in depth for really aggressive scaling. That's how Marcos will, literally 10x his budgets during the day and go from 2,000 a day to 20. That's exactly what he did. And this was not CBOs really. This is something that didn't spend much. I'm gonna run you through a secondary ad account for a store of mine that's no longer running. So I'm comfortable showing it to you. Oh, come on. It doesn't want to let us on. We got to do it on my authorized device. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in, and this ad account spent a light $98,000. A little Mercedes there, but this is not a lot when it comes to ad spend, because as soon as stuff starts working, you can scale it super fast, okay? Now, I talked about scaling through different ways, reducing costs, shipping, charging, upping your average order value, because that's what's important. Now, let's talk about scaling through your ads, okay? So scaling the profits on the back end is one thing. Let's jump into this one here that spent the most, all right? These were ABOs, also known as ad group budgets, okay? So you got your CBOs and your ABOs. So this is on this level, okay? It's just another layer of disbursements. If you're gonna run a CBO, you want a higher budget because you got 2 layers of disbursement. We can get into that. So this was for a jewelry store that ran a little while back. Of course, this ad account got removed. Lovely. So these ads, you can see the minimums here you ever really see are in the 200s, but they're really like 500 plus. The reason I do that is because as soon as things start working, I want to increase the budget as fast as possible. And it's because of the learning phase on TikTok, where they say that you are never going to get consistent results unless you are able to get 50 conversions a week. Now, this ad account was under tracking by half. So whatever you see, double it, which means whatever number you see here, cut it in half. So this was 22, this was 28, whatever. Again, so you get the idea. This is where we start scaling the ads, because I want to spend as much as possible on these and get them working consistently. So like this one right here, $16,000, okay? The average cost per purchase here was $21. That is ridiculously profitable, probably a 37% margin if I had to eyeball it, okay? That's awesome. That's great. This thing printed money, right? Now, this was the smaller ad account for it, the secondary ad account. If we jump into the ads, some of these we deleted, but or I guess a lot of them. But you can see here how the spend is dispersed. And this is really important when it comes to TikTok. Unlike Facebook, TikTok really takes a dominant spender and somebody sitting back seat, okay? So especially when you have more than 3, you're gonna see one that spends anywhere from 65 to maybe 95% of your budget. So this is what we call the dominant spender. There is nothing that I've found that can stop this. It's also not a bad thing. Sometimes it can slightly climb and become a little more expensive. It's usually not the cheapest one. Usually one of these other ones are cheaper, which is great. But sometimes when you start running much higher budgets and you add in more than 3, you get a secondary spender that picks up 20, 25% of the slack, which is nice. So if this top one ever overcharges and just goes off the rocker and charges you way too much, you can turn that off and it pushes to a second spender. But it's not good when you don't have a second spender. Let's say this was not here. The 4K was added to this one, so it's 15 grand, and then all these other ones spent nothing, $12, all this stuff. So eventually I'll come in and clean these up. I'd probably remove, this one, maybe this one. I don't like to move too many of them, but you want to start moving these because you get a dominant spender. And again, people say, how do I stop doing that? It's not necessarily a bad thing. So just keep that in mind. But other than that, there's a lot of things you can do inside of here to start raising the budgets. Let's take a look at one of these for an example, okay? Wherever we have some additional, okay, so take a look at this name here, okay? Oh, here we go. The name of some of these is what tells the story for the scaling. So mid-9th, so the 9th day of the month, so I know when this happened, in middle of the day, mid-9th, 2x at a 28 CPP. So now I know what I did, when, and what the results were, and now I can track it continuously. So every time you see a slash for me, that's where I made a modification. I like to track it. So the next day, the cost actually went down. I doubled the budget, and my cost dropped by $4 per purchase. Think about that for a second. That is incredible, okay? And considering that this ad account is under tracking, you can imagine this was a $12, this was a $14. These are very profitable, okay? And this one got up to $2,000 a day. So that's where those changes are made, and then eventually it climbs and whatever, you just turn it off. This ad account went away. These are all still profitable, but there's a lot of things. So you can see this, for me, end of 8th, so end of the day, I saw the results, liked it, bumped it $150. That was the last thing I did on this. So what's the budget on this one? $900. Okay, so this one was launched at $750. Great. So there's a lot of things you can do. This one is actually, if you see DP 824, this was day partying, running from 8 a.m. all the way to midnight. So a lot of different things there, expanding out countries. There's so much that goes into these ads, but you really need to start feeling it out and launching more ad groups, doing more budget tests. There's going to be a lot of toggling on and off with your ads. So that is a quick look inside of an ad account. Now we have to follow this. More game. All right, you ready? So that was light scaling. You might say 98 grand, that's not light scaling. It was. Didn't touch any surf scaling, didn't do anything crazy. There was not even CBOs. Like that's the smallest thing you could ever do. Like 100 grand is literally nothing when it comes to ad spend because you're making money. I'm not spending a ton of money unless I'm making money. Simple as that. All right, let's move on. None of this matters if your product sucks. I feel like you've heard me say that before. Oh, maybe it's because it matters. Okay, go get them, Tiger. What should you do next? All right. First step, apply for a group coaching below. Even if it's not a fit, it's a tiny group. Most people don't get accepted. Most people aren't even able to schedule a call. That's fine because we're going to point you in the right direction. We're going to send you a free course for filling out the form. And maybe we say, hey, here's a list of 10 winning products that you're going to want. Here's this resource that we have. We're going to, based on your questions there, we can try to help you. So we're happy to do that. You're going to get the course for free, but my team is going to personally review your application and see how we can help you. Okay, we haven't worked with a lot of people one-on-one, but the results from those that we have been incredible. Step number 2, open a Shopify store and start screwing around. Take some time, man. It's all good. You're on vacation. Just relax. Spend time. Take 3 months to learn this. Play around. Build a store. Learn how to do up the upsells. Everything. There's a $1 trial with an extended trial below. $1 link, okay? So that'll get you some preferred terms with Shopify, so use that link. Learn the platform. Start finding products. Build a big list. Narrow it down. Build it back up. Do a lot of that, okay? We help our students go to market in 1 to 2 weeks. So within 14 days, I want everybody running ads, testing that first product. That's a minimum, all right? Number 3, watch the video on low startup budget strategy. I will link it below if I forget. It's on my YouTube. Just type in low budget or you can see it recently. That talks about like budgeting styles through TikTok and startup budgets and what your costs are. But that's a video. I might link another one below, but there's a lot of videos I've done in the last couple months that'll be really helpful for you. So I would definitely recommend that. But make sure you fill out that form below because you're going to get the free course. And that walks you through a lot of this way more in depth than a YouTube video can. So nice and simple. That is all I got for you today. There was a ton of stuff here that we went through. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, consider leaving a comment down below, positive or negative. I would love to hear from you. Let me know your struggles with TikTok so that I can address them in the next video. This thing is broken, okay? Well, who knows? Hope you're having a great day. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.